The story begins inside a mysterious dungeon filled with the bodies of fallen explorers. Among them, only one man remains alive, Juhan. Standing before him is a massive snake-like monster that has already wiped out everyone else. The beast lunges at Juhan without hesitation. He fights back with his sword, but the blade becomes lodged in the monster's teeth. In response, the creature strikes him with its powerful tail, sending him flying across the dungeon. Refusing to give up, Juhan charges again and drives his sword into the monster's face. However, the weapon shatters on impact. Before he can recover, the monster grabs one of his legs. Using the broken blade, Juhan manages to stab the creature in both eyes, but the enraged beast retaliates by biting off his legs and throwing him to the ground, then devours his severed limbs. Lying helplessly, Juhan cries out that he cannot die in such a meaningless way. In his anger, he curses a man named Kevin, blaming him for everything that has happened. A flashback reveals that Kevin had sent Juhan on this dangerous mission, promising him a huge reward in return. Instead, all of Juhan's teammates have died, and he now faces death alone with nothing but a broken sword in his hand. Desperately, Juhan insists that he cannot die like this. As the monster slowly approaches to finish him off, the 38-year-old believes that this is the end of his life. Suddenly, an unfamiliar voice asks why he is screaming so much. Juhan opens his eyes and notices something impossible. The giant snake has completely frozen in place, as though time itself has stopped. The mysterious voice asks whether he can hear it. Juhan replies that he has encountered many talking relics before. He demands that whoever is speaking should get rid of the snake and let him leave. The voice laughs and points out that half of Juhan's body has already been destroyed. It explains that even if the monster disappeared, Juhan would not survive for much longer. According to the voice, Juhan possesses extraordinary talent, but he was born in the wrong era and is destined to die a meaningless death. Juhan angrily tells the voice to stay silent, insisting that it knows nothing about his life. He declares that none of his suffering was by choice and vows that he will never forgive Kevin. The mysterious voice laughs once again before stating that someone as talented as Juhan should not meet such a pointless end. At that moment, a strange four-eyed crow appears before him. The crow announces that it is giving Juhan one final opportunity, and tells him to claim the throne of the true king. Immediately afterward, a massive explosion fills the dungeon. When Juhan regains consciousness, he discovers that both of his legs have been completely restored. Every other injury on his body has also disappeared. Confused, he wonders who the true king is and why the mysterious crow chose to help him. He suspects that the crow must have been a god to relic. As he continues looking around, he realizes that he is no longer inside the dungeon. Instead, he finds himself sitting in a police station. Nearby, a young boy sits beside his mother, who is loudly yelling at Juhan. Meanwhile, a police officer calmly asks him to state his name. Still unable to understand what is happening, Juhan wonders if he is dreaming. The officer impatiently tells him to answer quickly, explaining that everyone wants to go home since they are working on New Year's Day. He casually remarks that he has no idea what the rest of 2025 will bring. The mention of the year leaves Juhan completely stunned. He immediately looks at the nearby calendar and confirms that the date is indeed 2025. However, he clearly remembers that 15 years have already passed since then. At that moment, he realizes the unbelievable truth. The mysterious crow has sent him 15 years back into the past. Just then, the angry woman begins shouting at him again. Juhan remembers exactly what happened on that day. The woman's son had tried to pick a fight with him, so Juhan had pushed him away in self-defense. The boy then reported the incident to the police and demanded a large financial penalty. At that time, Juhan had been completely broke and had no choice but to kneel down and apologize. Now, the furious woman starts slapping Juhan once again. Juhan immediately grabs the woman's wrist and firmly tells her that her son was the one who started the fight. He points out that demanding such a large fine is nothing more than greed, adding that he has never met anyone more selfish. Enraged by Juhan's response, the woman's son charges toward him to attack. Without hesitation, Juhan catches the boy, lifts him off the ground, and sends him flying with a powerful kick. Although Juhan's body has returned to its younger self, all of his combat experience and memories from the future remain intact. His skills allow him to overpower the boy effortlessly. However, because he assaults the boy in front of the police officers, Juhan is immediately arrested and placed in a jail cell. The furious woman shouts that his name will now be added to a criminal record and that his future has been ruined forever. Juhan remains unconcerned. He reflects that once the relics appear in the world, laws and criminal records will become meaningless. He recalls how, in 2025, a massive earthquake shook the entire world. Soon afterward, mysterious tombs began appearing across different countries. Hidden inside these tombs were magical relics that granted extraordinary powers to those who obtained them. As news spread, people from every corner of the world rushed to search for these relics. Juhan remembers that he was fortunate enough to acquire an archaeologist's relic. Using its abilities, he gathered extensive knowledge about ancient tombs and relics. Believing that this opportunity would change his life, he worked tirelessly to build a better future. Unfortunately, powerful private corporations soon seized control of the tombs and prevented ordinary people from entering. Their only goal was to monopolize every relic hidden inside. The first company to establish this dominance was TKBM, led by its chairman, Tejan Kevin. After learning about Juhan's exceptional abilities, Kevin recruited him to work under his command. From that point onward, Juhan carried out countless illegal missions, including smuggling, theft, and dangerous tomb expeditions. He even stole relics from tombs that were under government protection. Another quest follows, announcing that he must become a tomb raider. To do so, he must unlock 4 unique skills. While Juhan studies the floating screen, a police officer tells him to stop talking to himself and lower his voice. At that moment, Juhan realizes that no one else can see the screen. It is visible only to him. He then tests his new ability and discovers that he can clearly perceive everything within a 1-meter radius. He recognizes this as the power of the archaeologist's relic. This discovery surprises him. Even though he has traveled back in time, all of his previous abilities still exist within him. If one skill has already returned, he wonders what the remaining 3 abilities might be. Even so, one question continues to trouble him. He cannot understand why the mysterious crow decided to help him, especially since relics have never been known to aid humans. A short time later, a man arrives to post Juhan's bail. The man is Detective Kim, who helped raise Juhan after he grew up in an orphanage. Juhan immediately asks Detective Kim whether anything unusual has happened recently, such as people suddenly gaining supernatural powers. Kim laughs off the question and tells him that superpowers are only found in fiction. From that response, Juhan realizes that the relics have not yet appeared in the world. After saying goodbye, Detective Kim heads home, leaving Juhan alone with his thoughts. Juhan concludes that the appearance of the tombs is only a matter of time. Before that happens, he needs to prepare himself. His biggest obstacle, however, is money. He remembers that the first relics were discovered in Europe and America, meaning he will need enough money to travel overseas by plane. As he considers his options, a group of local thugs suddenly blocks his path. Instead of feeling threatened, Juhan smiles to himself, believing that his financial problem has just solved itself. The gang works for a local criminal named Park, who runs a small shop with his sister, Kyunju. In the past, Juhan had worked part-time for them, where he was treated like a servant and regularly beaten despite his hard work. One of the thugs rushes forward to attack him. This time, Juhan calmly throws a single punch, knocking the man to the ground. He then tells the thug to inform Park that he has quit his job and expects to receive every cent of his unpaid wages, with interest. Park himself steps forward, intending to teach Juhan a lesson. Instead, he is quickly defeated. The remaining 3 gang members attack together, but Juhan overpowers them with ease. Although his younger body has not yet regained its full physical strength, his 15 years of combat experience allow him to dominate every fight. Realizing brute force is useless, Park pulls out a dagger. The moment Juhan sees it, he freezes in surprise. He immediately recognizes the weapon as a relic. This shocking discovery confirms that some relics had already been secretly hidden among humanity long before the world's tombs officially appeared. As Park charges toward him with the dagger, Juhan calmly thinks to himself that the relic must have originated from somewhere, and from this moment onward, it belongs to him. With that revelation, the first episode comes to an end.